this is Becky Poole, and this is an extra bit from the interview with Tara Shu about Christian surfers. I did not know that was a thing until I talked to Tara. Enjoy this extra bit. Oh, you have to talk real quick about Christian surfers.
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, I mean, you know, you want to talk more about kids getting murdered.
Yeah, always.
Because we love that. Which I think is terrible.
Right. Please let us emphasize that is not what we're interested in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how can I come at this? Okay. I grew up down the Jersey Shore. Maybe that's the best way to start this.
That'll give us a good foundation.
Yeah. Weirdly, a lot of surfers there.
That's
but maybe not.
But I believe it. Maybe not weird. I guess if we were surfers, weird. We wouldn't think it was weird.
I think when I left New Jersey, I was like, it's not weird. And then I was like, oh, I could see why you would think it's weird because it's New Jersey.
Right, and especially coming from California or like
yeah. It's like,
California,
why would you go to New Jersey? But, you know, a beach is a beach. I don't know. Hang 10. I just did the hang 10 gesture. I don't know.
It felt authentic. You must.
Thank you. Yeah, I do it a lot because I'm from the Jersey Shore.
Exactly, brah.
No, I actually I mean, I liked the beach as a kid, but I think I surfed once. But it is a big thing there. And my stepdad is a surfer and found out about an organization called Christian Surfers. I believe it actually started in Australia. But Christian Surfers is exactly what it sounds like. It is using the activity of surfing as a ministry to youth for Christ.
Wow.
So
let me get you out here on the water alone.
Yeah, and then find some kind of middling allegories for the tides or something in your life. And
I mean, to be fair, when I went out surfing, I did the same thing. Waves, it's like life.
Yeah.
But anyway,
but you know, with all of these so-called ministries, it just works on teens. I don't know why surfing can't just be a cool spiritual thing on its own, because it is amazing when you think about it, how the tides work and how waves happen and how you can actually ride a wave, brah. But,
exactly. It's beautiful and it's
cool as hell, and
you are succumbed to the power.
Yeah.
Of, is that the right grammar? I don't care.
Yeah, we don't need grammar at all out here. It's just me and the waves. You know?
Exactly.
I'm aboard. So my stepdad got involved in what they're calling chapters of Christian surfers. This still exists, by the way, and they're all over the country, and I guess Australia, probably other places where there are beaches. And he got involved in that. It's just kids out on their boards and sharing the Lord and the power of Christ, and Do
they swim out to groups of surfers, or do they bring the surfers?
I believe what it is, do you like to surf? Do you want to learn from surfers? Come to the beach. Okay. Come to this part of the beach at this time on this day. And
we'll surf some
And I'm sure that a lot of times, people from the church are also, they know exactly what it is, but they're I want to learn how to surf.
Okay.
Yeah. I never attended one of these, by the way. I'm just, aware of it. Returning home from college one year, they were having some sort of Christian surfers event that was often sponsored by one of the surf shops. And I, met a few people who were from the Santa Barbara chapter of Christian surfers. It was one of those things where I was my mom was oh, let's stop by. And I was just kind of had to do it. And I was hi, nice to meet you. And I know that I met this person who I learned was a prominent figure in the Santa Barbara chapter of Christian surfers. And he actually murdered his 2 very young children because he was heavily indoctrinated in some aspect of QAnon and had started to believe that his wife had serpent DNA and passed it on to their kids. And so he drove them out to Mexico, and his wife went somewhere else, and he was with the kids, and she, I think she called the cops and was I'm a little concerned because he drove us somewhere where he told us we weren't going, and he seems a little erratic. And he killed his 2 kids because he believed that they had the devil's DNA or something. And of course, the pastor of the church was oh, we don't have anything to do with this. But I think it's worth saying that the majority of people who ascribe to QAnon are church-going people, Christian church-going people. It has, according to my mom, created quite a big divide in the Christian community. We just don't talk about it.
Do you know what's crazy to me? It is harder for me to feel empathy for that man.
Yeah.
Than for the
women.
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you why. I can tell exactly
Yeah,
why.
I think you know why. Yeah, I think I could tell you why. I don't think that this man, who, of course, was a white man, young guy, I don't think that he experienced any kind of not being heard, having his humanity questioned or even dismissed. He wasn't in a situation where, like, he should have been on drugs, but, you know, someone was preventing him. I mean, he probably should have been on drugs, but...
And that's where I'm like, oh, it's the same. If it's the same, it's the same.
Yeah,
but
but
it is a different situation. And it's a different power dynamic.
There's a completely different context. And I think also QAnon reminds me of evangelicalism a lot because there's no really clear definition, and the sort of goalposts change, or maybe not the goalposts, but the yard lines change within them. You know, QAnon has always been described as like, it's a one-size-fits-all kind of thing for any conspiracy theory. Now it just kind of leads back to this. It's sort of just like our way of saying, like, crazy conspiracy theories and theories, and Donald Trump is also still president and Joe Biden is a hologram or whatever. When you have a man who is considered a leader with a background of seeming like the greatest guy and no problems here, all his neighbors loved him and everybody in his life thought he was great, go down that path, it's harder to pinpoint than when you've got these women who they're like, I wanted to kill myself after I had a child, and they were like, well, you're crazy. Yeah. Oh, take away your meds.
They tried to kill themselves. They they told people, I'm gonna hurt my kids.
Right.
This wasn't...
Yeah, and I think maybe that's why you feel so much more empathy for them. Yeah. Like, there are people who are involved in these sort of religions and conspiracy cults that validate their delusions and their, you know, oh, I'm out of control. I'm not in control anymore. Yeah. How do I get back into control? Or whose fault is this? You know, a woman was always told that it was her fault, you know.
Well, right.
A man would never even begin to think that it was
not my
fault. Yeah, it must be Biden.
Oh,
or like
exactly.
Whatever. Or like,
just blaming it on
or like
else.
China or something. You know, it's like...
Well, when you have somebody who's in control of everything, God, Jesus, who's in control of all the good things and will take all your stuff away, who's in control of all the bad things?
It's the devil.
If it's not... Right, it's Satan.
Yeah, rather than like... you know, hubris or whatever, and people just getting out of control to the point of, you know, harming.
And taking accountability, saying, like, I did that.
Yeah. And that's interesting, too, because didn't both of them say, like, yep, I did that?
Yep.
Yeah. I think he did not, but I could be wrong. His name is Matt Coleman. Can you imagine the wife, too, just being like, I have what? I have serpent DNA.
Fuck you.
And it was probably because she was like, I don't like Trump or whatever.
Oh, for sure.
Know?
But they're actually still preaching this shit.
Yeah.
About being daughters of Eve.
Oh, yeah.
And that you're a Jezebel.
Yeah.
Just because you're a woman and you were tempted and ruined by the snake.
Right.
So.
It's original sin. It's like, and we're supposed to basically just feel guilty and shameful about that.
When it's actually like, we should be like, you know what? Yeah, I tasted the apple. It was great. And
it was good.
Bye.
Yeah.